Does everybody know what time it is?
Home Impodcast time!
That's right, Binford Tools is proud to present Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam, you all know my co-host, Jordan. Hi, Jordan.
What's up, Adam? How you doing?
Good, man. Good.
Alright, well, I'll talk to you later. That's all I had.
I'm over the small talk. I was listening to... I was at the gym. I know, I'm always at the gym.
You're always working out, man. No wonder your biceps are so big.
You probably think I'm in really good shape from all the working out I do. Not the case. I was at the gym the other day, and I didn't have any podcasts to listen to, so I was like, how about I listen to some old episodes of Home Impodcast?
Trying to pad our numbers?
That was a huge mistake.
No wonder people are giving us bad. Yeah, people are giving us bad reviews because we were bad. I guess that's why.
Yeah, It wasn't good. I ran across some... I could only listen to about 10 minutes of each episode before I would think okay, I gotta try a different one. This one sucks.
Wow.
I tried... There was one where it was like the NBA trade deadline. So we did... we traded people from other sitcoms. That was really good. It was funny too because the big news of the trade deadline was Boogie Cousins got traded from the Kings to the Pelicans, which seems like it was 100 years ago at this point.
It does.
So that was really good. There was one I recorded from an iPad because my computer was screwed up. That's a reoccurring trend throughout the podcast.
You just got your computer back today, so...
I know. I refuse to invest in a computer, so it continues to be an issue. Podcast did not used to be good. Now it's really good.
Yeah, we really...
So I guess, yeah.
I think we leave up the old episodes so that people can see how far you can come, give people some inspiration, start from the bottom and really work your way up.
I do it to give people hope.
Yeah.
It's hey, if we can be this bad at doing something for this long, really anything's achievable.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Write your novel, start your music career, become an athlete, professional athlete, you can do all those things.
Before we started recording today, I turned on the Matchbox 20 song, Let's See How Far We've Come, and I just kind of rocked out to it because it just sort of motivates me to be a better podcaster.
You have an MP3 player with just that song on it, right?
No, it's a Zune.
All right, man. That's really great.
The old Zune versus
iPod?
I can't even remember. It's been so long since
Pod.
Zune versus iPod debate. Man, decidedly Zune. It's kind of like Dippin' Dots and ice cream. Just was never going to work out.
Well, these are all blasts from the past right now. And I like it. You know what else was a blast from the past? I was reading an article on my favorite website, foxnews.com. My favorite.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of our listeners like that as well.
Yeah,
I have reason to believe.
It's bookmarked. It's my homepage, actually. Yeah. But, yeah, there was an article from our dear Patricia Richardson, and the headline is, Home Improvement star Patricia Richardson explains why she left hit series. And I thought, wait a minute. Are they quoting us? Because we had that scoop on our podcast a month or two ago when we interviewed her. She sat down with us for 2 hours, and that was part of the information that she decided to disclose. But no, they did not cite us. They cited instead Closer Weekly. So I don't know where they got it. And I went to the Closer Weekly article, and it says exclusive. So I'm feeling very slighted right now. I feel like we don't get any respect.
Much like Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah. Can we issue a cease and desist? To Fox News.
If any of our listeners are lawyers, that would be helpful because we certainly cannot afford one.
Yeah, it would be awesome to take down Fox News. Here's the thing, Jordan. These are the kind of things that happen. Fox News. They probably made it up anyways. It's probably not even a real thing.
You think that they quoted a fake website that they created themselves?
Hey, I wouldn't put it past them with the way things are going politically these days, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Well, in that article, Patricia Richardson, I think we've talked about this before, but the main thing that she talked about was leaving the hit show and why she turned down that big check at the for a 9th season, and she said that she wanted to be with her kids, and we talked a lot about that. We talked about that and breast milk and all that other stuff. But I don't know. It's hard when you run across articles like this and you just feel slighted, and I don't know. I need to talk about something a little bit more happy, you know?
Jordan, I would just say things like this have happened before, and they will continue to happen.
Is this worse
Go ahead.
Is this worse or better than when a rival podcast stole our domain?
That made me a lot more frustrated than this. I don't really care about this at all. But yeah, that was funny. Jordan, there's David and there's Goliath, and I think you know that we're David and Fox News is Goliath. And if they want to come at us, if they want a war,
slingshot,
we'll give them a war.
We'll give them a slingshot. Yeah.
Better lawyer up, Fox News, because Home Impodcast is coming for you, and you might not like what happens.
Oh boy. Well, threats have been issued. Speaking another Fox News related thing.
What is with you and Fox News? Just cool it, man.
Well, Zachary Ty Bryan. This wasn't on Fox News.
I know why he's talking to Fox News.
Well, I don't think this was on Fox News. I think it was NBC.com. But it just reminded me because I think he had that little appearance on Fox News where he was talking about conservatives in Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. But I was more interested in this NBC article where it talks about Zachary Ty Bryan is having another child. This is baby number 4, and this is going to be his first boy. So very exciting news for Zachary. Cool. And we're excited for that. And then there was a little nugget at the end of this article. I spent a lot of time on articles about home improvement, way more than I ever thought I would.
Like I've said this before, but like I feel like since you've had a kid, like you spend more time on stupid than you used to. You see,
it's a wonder.
You're more willing to get into the weeds.
Well, I feel like whenever I get time to myself, I just have to I just have to be doing something.
You have to, Jordan. You have an obsession with making art. Like for you, it's all about making art and storytelling. So when you have downtime, you want to make art and you want to tell stories.
You would know because we took a storytelling class together.
Yeah.
But at the end of this,
I was the teacher, and you were the student.
And now the student has become the master, if you ask me.
Indeed.
All right. Yeah. Anyways, what I was gonna say is at the end of this article, Zachary Ty Bryan has confirmed that the project that he was working with Jonathan Taylor Thomas is moving forward, and they are now adding to the fold Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin. So that's a trifecta if I ever heard one.
Yeah. Had hoped that maybe. So, like, let me just preface this by saying Home Alone is one of my 5 favorite movies, not just Christmas, just one of my 5 favorite movies. I love Macaulay. I understand he had a tough childhood, and, it's hard being a child star, et cetera, et cetera. But when you bring Macaulay Culkin into the fold, Macaulay Culkin in his current iteration, he's into some weird kind of quirky stuff. I was just on his website the other day because he was on, oh gosh, it was Fallon, if you can believe it. I'm watching friggin' Fallon.
Who are you? This is not the Adam I know.
I must have been so bored. And he's got this new, I should get the website right. He's like, I think it's like Bunny Ears or something.
Yeah, he has a podcast. That's where they apparently reached out to him after listening to his podcast. Something like that.
Okay. I think it's called bunnyears.com. Is that what it is?
Sounds about right. It's called, the podcast is Bunny Ears, so.
Okay, so yeah, it's called bunnyears.com. And it's like, he said on the interview with Fallon that it's like The Onion meets, I don't know, what did he say? They say it's Onion-esque. I've looked at the website. It's pretty weird. Macaulay Culkin's into some strange stuff. Like, for instance, right now, you can vote on what he will legally change his middle name to. So, and he, in the past, he's done some things where, like, he was in a band where they wrote songs about pizza and they wore, like, sweaters. So he's just a quirky guy. Long story short, what I'm saying is, by bringing Macaulay Culkin in the fold, you're almost guaranteeing that this is just going to be some weird web series. And I had really hoped that they could, like, get this on, like, CBS or something at the... I'm sure they did as well, but, like, I don't know. I just feel like this is destined for, like, a weird kind of thing that you can watch on YouTube for like a second but doesn't really have any traction. And I really want these guys to have a successful TV show on a broadcast network.
Yeah, that is a shame. Are you going to do a Twitter poll where you will change your middle name based on the results?
I will not. I like my middle name. Macaulay Culkin, I voted in this, and I suggest you all do as well. But right now, there are 40,000 votes, and leading is that Macaulay Culkin will change his name to Macaulay Culkin. So his name is his middle name. It's just quirky, kind of weird stuff, Jordan. So,
and yet 40,000 people have voted in that poll, including you.
Well, yeah, I mean, had to. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the best news, is what I'm saying. Obviously, you bring a lot of bad news at the start of the show.
Sorry.
We're getting ripped off by Fox News.
Well,
ZTV,
there was good news.
Randy.
A new child,
what
a boy.
was that? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
But
yeah,
you hate kids, just like Tim Allen, so.
No, I like kids, but I'm saddened by the other news. So, I don't know. We'll try to continue on today.
A bad news sandwich.
Yeah, I know. Gluten-free, though, so good for everybody.
Good. All right, you know what else is good for everybody?
High School Confidential.
Yeah, episode 114. This one written by Bruce Ferber and Lloyd Garver. They last did Doctor in the House, where...
was that one good?
Well, Tim got a PhD. And then Wilson and Jill were really upset. They couldn't handle it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was okay.
Well, you liked it because they had that hall that you've been to so many times at Western's campus.
Sorry I make personal connections to episodes. My bad.
I don't know why.
It's not
You're
like
always
that.
trying to make this about you. Every single episode.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Right, yeah.
It's crazy. All right, this one aired January 16th, 1995. Title reference, High School Confidential, a movie from 1958. And looks like this title was also used in a song that reached number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100 by Jerry Lee Lewis and Ron Hargrave. So
you're a big Jerry Lee Lewis fan, right?
I'm more of a Hargrave guy.
It's a good choice. Yeah. Good choice. Good answer.
Yeah, good answer. I don't know who either of those people are, but number 21, that's not bad.
Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old first cousin.
Perfect. All right, alternative title time.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I don't know Hargrave. But.
Yeah, that's why I'm a Hargrave guy. Alternative titles. I have 4. 2 of them are questions.
Oh, I guess I'll do just 4. I have 5, but one of them's not worth saying.
I'd like you to do 5.
All right, I'll do 5.
All right, start off then.
What about Brad?
That's one of mine.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Yeah. I'll do my other question.
Say it. Say it like it's yours.
What about Brad?
Okay, good.
Good. All right, how about, are you smarter than Randy Taylor?
Good one. Here's mine. He's a smart guy. Living in Milwaukee now, I've never been closer to smart guy.
Wow, what a feeling.
Yeah. That's actually why I moved here.
Figures. No job, just smart guy.
Well, that is my job.
Yeah, okay.
Being a fan.
It's amazing you get paid for that. All right.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of the man's bedroom, how about the dude's den?
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, this next one is not much better. A shining star.
You know, it makes yours worse when you say it with that tone and that voice.
That's why I do it.
All right, good. This is a class that you majored in, I'm pretty sure. Or not majored, but you got an A in.
Can't major in a class, idiot.
I know.
Okay.
That's why I didn't take any of these. AP Jealousy.
Yeah, I majored in that. And I took a class. So stupid. Good burn. All right. Last 2. You just got schooled.
Okay.
Do you have another one or no?
No, that was my last one, sorry.
Okay, here's my last one. Live or let die.
That's my favorite one you did. Way to go.
That's why
Way
I
to end on a high note. That's good.
Yeah, the highest of highs.
All right, and we'll start with the lowest of lows, and that's tool time. And we're building a man's bed. There's a lot of steel. They're going to saw some steel. And Al knows that Tim is going to mess up, so he's got some backup pieces. And they're using the steel to make a frame for a bed, not just a man's bed. And then they're going to make a headboard. They're just moving through the process pretty quickly with some one-liners. They talk about how they're going to move on to welding. Tim says he carries...
They flash forward twice, which is I think this is maybe one of the longest opening segments to date. Like 2 minutes long, so it's quite a bit longer than usual.
Tim carries a torch for welding. They use a bender to shape the steel for the headboard, and then there's a joke about going on an alcoholic bender. Nothing that I know anything about. Adam, can you fill us in?
Alcoholic benders? Yeah. The fact that you call it an alcoholic bender, I think, shed light on everyone how often you do drink. Hey man, I've been on a handful. It is what it is. I don't know.
It is what it is.
Patreon if you want to help out. I don't know.
Okay. There's a short moment where they're talking about how women frill up the bedroom and it must stop. And then Tim takes a stuffed animal and pets it very strangely, like Goldfinger in Bond. Or maybe Dr. Evil.
Didn't notice.
Oh, yeah, it was very strange.
Oh, yeah.
And, it sets us up for later in this episode when next time there's going to be the man's bedroom. So just a lot of setup. Not really a lot of good jokes or anything, but like you said, a long scene to open the episode.
Yeah, it is long. It's weird that they flash forward twice. It was okay. I read online the other day that every model in Tool Time, like every Binford model, is 6100.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
They always say 6100. Yeah. So
it's weird.
You think someone would change that? Continuity error?
Somebody should Room 237 Home Improvement really get into the weeds, conspiracy theory. Do you know what Room 237 is, Jordan?
No, but you explained it by just saying conspiracy theory, so.
So there's like this, The Shining is a film.
Yeah. It is? I thought it was only a book.
Yeah, it's a film. Kubrickian. So the Room 237 is like a documentary that is about like hidden subliminal messaging in The Shining, and people think that like it is about the plight of Native Americans or that Kubrick helped stage the moon landing. Really crazy stuff. So that was kind of what I was getting at with that joke. Good joke, so when you have to explain them. Here we go, next scene.
Are you saying that we improved after what you listened to earlier today when you were working out?
There were no jokes in the beginning, so I guess explaining jokes is better than not having any. Next scene, home. This is really, when I said Shining Star, I was talking about Mark in this scene.
He's got Sports Time magazine in his hands.
There's a lot of magazines in this episode. Jill brought home Mark some shirts. He doesn't think he's going to like them, and then he looks at them. He doesn't like them. They looked fine to me. The last thing he pulls out is a bra, which was cool. I don't know.
Question mark.
Yeah, I don't know. Cool, good, bad. Tim comes in, and he's all horned up from welding.
Yeah, and Jill knows, too. It's real strange.
She's like, you either want to get down, or you just welded. And turns out he just welded. Brad comes in, and he's excited because he got an A in school. Tim has a funny line where he says, Brad says, like, I had a great day, and Tim says, would you weld or something? Mm-hmm. That was kind of funny. Randy comes in a little bit after.
I hope he's not welding around Angela.
Keep going.
Well, we just talked about how Tim gets a little excited around welding.
Oh, God, Jordan, stop it. Stop it. Oh, my gosh. Should have stopped you. You and your you've never been on a bender, but you sure know how to dirty talk with the best of them. All right.
I'm just worried.
Randy comes home.
They're so young.
Yeah, as well you should be. He got detention. Everyone's surprised. He doesn't really know. Well, he doesn't really know why. Although maybe he does. It's not really clear. He got detention from Mr. Marino.
Oh, what a character he is.
Brad kind of revels in that.
It's really a Bizarro World type of scene, because you got Randy in trouble, you got Brad doing well in school. I don't know what to say about Mark. I guess he had a pretty good line here. That's kind of weird. I don't know.
Which line was good?
I don't know. I like the way that he was interacting with sports.
Sassy about clothes?
Yeah, sassy about clothes. I feel like that's a thing. Kids just refuse to like what their parents pick out for them.
Yeah, you're right.
What are you looking up over there? I hear you typing away.
You're going to find out in the next segment, I think.
Mr. Moreno?
You want to know more about Mr. Moreno? Yeah, you're really ready. Scene ends. Brad's apparently wrote his paper on Of Mice and Men. Tim says it's about time they started teaching pest control in school. Good line.
Yep, I liked it. Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about Mr. Moreno, huh? Because the Taylors are in the science classroom. I felt like right away, it was bringing back a lot of memories for Jill. It was bringing back a lot of memories for me. That skeleton, it reminded me of good old anatomy and physiology with you, Adam.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Jasper Geppetto. What was the last name? Jenkins? Something
Brasky.
Like that? Brasky, of course.
Brasky, you stupid son of a...
How dare I? But yeah, just memories of that classroom where, you got in trouble for talking just during, like, the news program that we had to watch.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Tough
Remember
stuff.
when Jared got in trouble for wearing, was it like a headband or something in class?
Yeah, that teacher was tough on us. I don't know about everybody, but he was tough on us.
We were supposed to be leaders, and we were not.
I never said I was a leader. I don't know where that expectation
Well,
came
you were
from.
around me, so.
Yeah.
All right, Tim is playing around with the skeleton and the anatomy little dummy over there, and he pulls out the liver. What was the title that you had for liver?
Liver let die.
Liver let die. And I can't imagine that you ever had the situation where your parents had to come in and talk to your teacher because you got in trouble.
No, never.
No, me neither. Jill talks a little bit more about her reminiscing. She says she got a D in casseroles in home ec class. And this is another joke where, Jill can't cook or something, but it's a pretty good line, and Tim says, it goes back that far. So that was
I thought they handled it well.
Yep, a clever line there. Mr. Moreno comes in. I would say he's a bit underwhelming in pretty much every way as far as his performance. But do you have any information on him?
Yeah, I actually like this guy.
You do? I don't like him in this performance.
Yes. No. I'll talk about that in a second. In general, I like him. His name is Miguel Sandoval. How many credits to his name, you might wonder? 161, Jordan.
Wowzers.
Best known for Get Shorty, which is a film I quite like. He's also in Jurassic Park, Clear and Present Danger, and what I saw him in, and he was actually really, really good in, was the HBO show Sharp Objects with Amy Adams. He was in that just last year, and he was very, very cool. He was her, I guess he was like her editor at the newspaper, and he was a cool guy. He's in something called Station 19 now, which appears to be a TV series, so he is... He's still working.
He's a busy guy,
and he is. Yeah, not great in this necessarily.
He's just very blasé the whole time,
It's like the stereotype that you sometimes get in shows because I don't know why they think it's funny, but where like the teacher is very like robotic and serious. Like he's taking it so much more seriously than the parents, which I just don't think is a thing that exists in real life necessarily. I mean, I suppose it could, but like he's very much like to the point. Like there's no small talk. Like he's just very, very serious. I don't know that like middle school teachers, they generally have personalities and stuff. I think you have to sort of be in that job. But
also,
he's acting like a Yale professor or something.
Yeah, and I would imagine if Randy was actually in trouble, maybe he would be a bit more stern. But he's not really. It feels like it's good news. So yeah, I just don't really like the way that it came off. But as we were saying, Randy is so bright that he's causing trouble for other kids. He gets done with his work so quickly, and he's bored, and he's messing with people. And Tim has another good line here where he says, "Why are you talking to us? Why aren't you talking to the parents of the dumb kids?" Of which Mr. Moreno does not like that comment. And Jill doesn't really comment on that. She gives him a weird look. The idea is to send him to high school for science and math. So I guess he's in 8th grade at this point. We're to get Randy, I would imagine. Yeah. So he'll be jumping up to 9th grade. Tim is feeling really prideful at this. Like, he's taking a lot of the credit here, which is, I think, is funny. He's saying he's just like his dad and shop. Apparently Tim skipped a few steps in shop, and he was metallurgically well endowed, something like that. Yeah. And, Tim wants to jump into this right away, and Jill's like, well, we need to think about this. Let's talk to Brad. And so they try to give it some thought, and they're about to leave the classroom, but Tim still has the liver, and so he tries to stealthily put it back into that little anatomy guy. I don't know what to call him. Dummy.
I call it a human body.
A human dummy. And, you can imagine what's going to happen. He tries to put the liver in, but then the rest of his guts come out. And there's a joke here where Tim says, asked him one question and he spilled his guts.
Yeah, it's maybe trying too hard. I have a couple things to say about Mr. Is it Marino or Moreno?
Moreno.
Okay.
Not Marino. Dan Marino.
Laces out Marino. I don't like. I just don't like the depiction here. He's like when Tim is like trying to talk about being good in woodshop, he's like, let's get back on track. It's like you're a peer. You're not a teach. This is not a teaching situation. And then like at the end, like Tim's like, I think we should like he's quick to have Randy jump into it. And Mr. Moreno's like, why don't you talk to Randy first, see how he feels, and then come back to me. It's like, hey, don't tell me how to raise my kids. I can make this choice on my own if I choose to.
Do you think
you're a parent?
Do you think Mr. Moreno is having some trouble behind the scenes? Maybe some trouble at home, and so he's kind of lost his humor a little bit.
Taken to drugs, and now he's looking at Randy as a reclamation project.
That really would have, helped the character a little bit to get some of that background.
That would be hilarious if they did that on Home Improvement. He's like, sorry, my kid's been dealing heroin and GHB and other terrible things. Sorry, I'm using Randy as a surrogate. Yeah.
Oh, well, they don't, and so that leaves us with an underwhelming performance, but that's all right. So we move.
That's all right because he's really good in sharp objects.
That's right. It's cool. He redeemed himself. So we go home. Randy is worried about when Mom and Dad come home. He's kind of like pacing the room, and Brad is sitting there at the table, and Brad tries to give a little bit of advice on, he's been in a lot of these situations himself. So he says, make sure you come in and apologize right away and kind of make like a pouty face of sorts. And Randy gives it a shot and practices a little bit with his brother, and Brad doesn't buy it. I don't think anyone buys it based on the look that he's giving. And then Randy turns around because his parents are home, and he tries it again, and Jill doesn't see it. She thinks he's lying, but things are okay. Jill and Tim share the news. Randy's excited. Brad pretends he doesn't care initially, but they do a lot
Not very well, though. He doesn't pretend especially effectively. The camera cuts to him every, 4 seconds, and he just looks like he's going to cry. I mean, any parent would see through this, I suspect.
Well, Tim's not paying attention, and that's true. That's the way that works. But, yeah, you can see it on his face, like you said. Tim has a colon in his pocket, or maybe he's just happy to see Jill again. I'm not sure.
He's been welding.
He's been welding again. Randy says he's going to run upstairs to tell Jeremy. Is this the first mention?
Jeremy is not upstairs. Jeremy's outside. You think they just leave Jeremy upstairs at just to his own devices?
I thought he was going to call him on the phone.
Oh, no, he's going outside.
All right. Well, he leaves somewhere to go talk to Jeremy. Is this the first?
Let's get this figured out.
Let's really get in the weeds here. 237, like you said, conspiracy. Tim tries to have Brad look out for him at the end here. He says, if anybody's picking on him, look out for him. Not really a lot comes of this conversation right here. Brad's just like, I think he can take care of himself. Everyone leaves. Brad lingers, and he is very sad.
Yeah, he tries to do his homework, and he crumples the paper away. 2 things. Jill keeps saying how everyone's going to be a lot bigger. Randy's in 8th grade, and he's moving to 9th grade. I mean, there's no discernible difference. I mean, I guess seniors would be bigger, but, it's not like Smart Guy,
Maybe it's not like Smart Guy. Yeah, I guess she's maybe referring to the juniors and seniors, those people who are 3-4 years older than him.
Don't buy it. Part 2, I was cruising through the channels last week, and I stopped on Laugh TV, my favorite channel for getting my yucks. And Brad looked this scene where Brad was tossing away the paper, and he looked very frustrated. And I said, "I better not watch this because I think this is going to be High School Confidential." And I was right. It was really crazy.
Wow, yeah. That's just insane.
I'm full of good stories like that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here, Adam. I'm so glad you're here. And
you guys everybody should cut their cable and get an antenna because you can just really get your yucks off with Laugh TV all the time. I watched some Third Rock from the Sun last night. Oh man,
Third Rock from the Sun. Oh my gosh,
those guys are crazy. Those guys are crazy. They're aliens on Earth.
I know.
You can't even imagine the trouble they get themselves into.
Do they have Alf on after that?
Oh man, I wish. If I'm watching Alf, you're gonna know about it. Don't worry.
That's true.
Hey, dude,
you're gonna be tweeting it every 3 seconds. Okay, that's enough. All right, and that's the end of the episode. Fade to black, and all right, no,
it's weird. It's weird that there's a lot of twists and turns from here. That's good. Next scene. This is I was gonna say titular man's bedroom, but I mean it's in some of our titles. So I suppose you call it that.
Yeah, the dude's den.
This is, what have we seen before? We've seen
the man's kitchen and the man's bathroom.
Have we seen man's garage at all?
No, I think this is the third edition of this.
Okay, all right. So rule of 3.
Can we rank them after you talk about them?
Sure. Okay. Let's just quickly run through. I mean, this is like, you know what they're doing here. So they showcase quite a few things. We got a bartender in the closet. I forgot his name. Did you get his name?
Nope.
Okay. There's AstroTurf for putting and football. There's a VR system, which I bet is similar to what we're kind of experimenting with in VR now. Probably not too different.
Yeah, Tool Time's always been ahead of the curve.
100%. There is a lever that picks out outfits. The bed turns into a pool table, so you don't have to make it. And the pool cues shoot out of the ground. Am I missing anything?
Barbecue grill and beer cooler in the nightstands.
Oh, awesome. I'd love to have a barbecue grill in my bedroom. Disgusting.
A score ticker at the top of the door.
Oh, yeah. Tim 97L0. Realistic football scores.
Yeah, well, before that, they had, actual scores going on, so that would be helpful in the age where you didn't have a smartphone, I suppose.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would have loved that.
You also forgot that there is an applause sign for when you finish your intimate moments.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
What do you think? That's everything.
Cool. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's my favorite of the 3
I was going to say that too. Yeah, this is the best one I think so far. I think pool, it's fun. I'm terrible at it, but I enjoy playing pool. What if it came out as a foosball table? That would have been fun.
Rather have pool. Rather have ping pong.
Oh, yeah. The problem with that pool table is that one edge you can't really get around to because that's where the wall is.
You're right, that would present problems. We also didn't mention that the headboard of the bed is like, a Corvette or something.
Yeah, like the front of a Corvette.
It's definitely a car, Jordan. 100% a car.
Well, I thought...
You said with some trepidation, car? Was it a car?
Was it a boat? Wait.
I didn't quite know what it was. I think this is the best one. I don't know, just was funny, cool.
No bennies were killed in the making of this bedroom. Or man's.
That was the worst part. Yeah, that was the worst part.
All right. So that's the man's bedroom. They're very excited. I don't know. That's the scene. And we move on. We go home.
It's just like they're just walking you through it. Nothing happens.
Yeah, there's nothing like Tim doesn't screw anything up or anything. They're just showing off their hard work.
Tim is he's on the ball this episode.
Yeah, he is. And we move home. Brad and Randy are working on the same homework in separate spaces. And Randy's first day went really great, except he was made fun of a little bit, but by his teacher. Oh, man. What? Mr. Moreno would have never let that happen.
Moreno, yeah, he would have. Mr. Moreno doesn't make jokes. He makes people. No, I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
All right. Well, I guess so.
Edit that out. Nope. Just take that out. Put some music or something. We can splice in Dracula right there or something, right?
Well, you talked about how expensive he is. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
We need to sell some more T-shirts.
Randy
his quota.
Randy finishes his homework in a fraction of the time that Brad does. Brad kind of lies and says, yeah, I'm done too, and Jill is going to take Randy to the mall, I guess, or something like that. Asks if Brad wants to join. He says, no, I got to call Angela back, and he lied because he has to sit down and finish his homework, and he's pretty upset, he's just feeling pretty bummed, and that's the end of that scene. He's just more bummed and frustrated, so there we go.
I know, as someone whose sister is
much smarter than you?
Probably smarter and definitely more accomplished than me. Really related to Brad in this episode.
Well, I can't say I really felt anything for Brad in this episode.
Yeah, well, I think that tells the pecking order of your family.
Let's move outside.
Go ahead.
All right, Wilson, it's time for a clip.
Let's play a clip.
Hey, Wilson.
Well, hi-ho, Tim.
Going skiing?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I told you I'm a biathlete.
Hey, whatever you do behind closed doors is your business.
Well, actually, we do it outside.
Huh?
You see, Tim, the biathlon is a combination of cross-country skiing and target shooting. I would have invited you along, but I figured you were quite busy.
Oh, has it ever been a busy week? Brad is becoming a really good student. Randy's so exceptional, they're moving him up 2 classes.
Whoa.
And more importantly, I built a really cool man's bedroom.
Hey, Wilson.
Hey, Brad.
Tim, I just got a call from the school about Brad.
Another A?
No. They said he flunked his last 2 tests and he hasn't been turning in his homework.
Now, what's that all about? He's been doing so well.
Well, you know what's going on, don't you?
Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out, no. You can't concentrate because all the other kids are asking about the man's bedroom. Well, what's your theory?
Brad's problems began when Randy started going to the same school.
See, I would tend to concur with Jill's theory.
He's been working so hard, and then Randy just swoops in and outshines him. It's awful. Brad was starting to feel so good about himself.
Well, I don't want him to compete with Randy and getting discouraged.
Well, what are we going to do?
Well, maybe you could remind Brad of the famous Hindustan proverb. True nobility lies not in being superior to another man, but in being superior to one's previous self.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Like it.
Oh.
Where do you keep coming up with these things?
Oh, neighbor, neighbor, neighbor. I've spent my entire life studying the wisdom of intelligent thinkers and philosophers. However, this one I read on a fortune cookie.
Well,
See you later.
thanks.
Wilson is preparing for a biathlon, which Tim thinks has to do with sexual preference. Tim is an idiot. Like, there are some Tim jokes where, like, it's like, you just can't, like, there's no way he doesn't know that. And I know it's a TV show, and I know we're just setting up punchlines and blah, 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 blah. Screw off, academic, I get it. But, like, you know, like, come on, he should know this.
You are the academic. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. You can count, you know, I don't know. You can't count, I guess, is how many times he's made jokes like this. So I guess we just suspend reality, as we often do with this show. But he does make another joke and says something about, like, that you do it outside, and Tim is even more suspicious at that statement, I guess. Tim shares his busy week. Brad is doing well, and Randy's moving up in classes, and the man's bedroom. It's really a trifecta for Tim right now.
He's very proud of that man's bedroom.
Very proud, and we get that a lot in the rest of this episode, really. Jill comes out there. There was a call from school, and Brad is in trouble. Back to his old ways. Tim thinks it's the man's bedroom. As we said, he's very proud of that, so he kind of is focused on that over everything. Jill says, no, I think it's Randy, and Wilson agrees. And Wilson shares a proverb from a fortune cookie about self-improvement.
Which was confusing because it should have been, I mean, this is Home Improvement. Why aren't they just, what? Like, why are you talking about self-improvement on Home Improvement?
Yeah, what a mistake. I'm so glad you brought that up.
It's a good advice this time around. It's essentially like, you know, you should only compare yourself to your previous self as opposed to, you know, anybody else. It's apt advice, and, you know, Jordan, I found it very relatable, personally.
Changed your week.
My life.
So you're not comparing yourself to your sister anymore?
No, stops.
Just right now. All
Take
right.
Home Improvement to help me. You know?
Thank goodness.
Could have
Inside.
saved money on therapy, but just Home Impodcast did it.
Well, you always can talk to me, Adam.
Yeah, you're too expensive.
All right. Well, we move inside. I'll bill you later. The parents confront Brad, and Brad says things are back to... He's just kind of like sitting there at the counter eating a yogurt like, yeah, I'm real proud of myself for being in trouble.
Yeah, he's being real smug.
Yeah. He says things are back to normal, huh? And he deflects a little bit about, like, the man... Like, Tim says, is it the man's bedroom or something? And then, is it Randy? And he says no initially, but then right away he kind of gets mad and says Randy's better at everything.
He's dying to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know how, like, when you're young and, like, you do something like I don't know, you act out because really you just want attention, you want to talk about it. This is one of those circumstances.
Yeah. So
I still do that, frankly.
Yeah. Kirsten doesn't really take kindly to it.
No, I act out all the time. Yeah, it's crazy.
The cats really console you, though, so that's good.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
All right, so they do talk about, like, you know, don't compare yourself with Randy. There's a joke about Hindu Stan and Hindu Bob, and this is kind of the second time in this episode where Jill is there for Tim being an idiot, and she just kind of looks at him like, what? What am I married to?
She breaks, like, during the Mr. Marino scene, she, like, is straight up laughing, and during this scene, she's almost laughing. She was having a tough time keeping it in this week.
Do you think they were improvised? Any of it?
I've never really got the feeling that there was a lot of improv on this show. I mean, like, I don't know. It's a hard one. I think that's always hard to answer when you're talking about shows, because I think
there's a lot of
stuff
editing.
Seems
yeah,
and a lot of stuff seems improvised, but actually isn't. Like, you know, there could be maybe there was a couple of different jokes that they gave him and he tried each one, but like I don't think it's improvised. No.
Okay. So they tell Brad to take pride in his hard work and his improvement, and they talk about how even since he was a little babe, he never gave up. He wouldn't let them help feeding him or riding a bike or any of that stuff. He had to do it himself.
He's tenacious.
He's tenacious, Brad.
Tenacious D. Yep.
Brad doesn't quite take to the advice, but Jill points out how he did it with school and getting those A's, and he's like, yeah, I did like getting those A's, and that's really all it takes to turn him around. But Jill has a really good line here that I think is, I don't know, one of the best lines that we've had in a while. It says, the greatest accomplishments in your life are the things that you work hard for. And then Tim says, you know, look at me with the man's bedroom. So
yeah.
Tim's always thinking about himself.
The man's bedroom stuff is funny. They hit it hard, but it works.
Yeah, it came on in the second half of the episode, but it does work, and it breaks up a little bit of the tension.
It does, yeah. They don't do that a lot, where like jokes will appear like midway through an episode and then kind of like be effectively used throughout. So I did kind of appreciate that in this one.
Yeah. All right. Later at home, Randy comes in. This is the final scene here. And he shares he got detention again. Everyone, and he says it's everyone else's fault. They kept bugging him about the man's bedroom, another man's bedroom joke. And
really
Tim is like, oh really? And then he says nah. And it's a good way
I
to
bought it the first time.
Yeah,
I was fooled.
Yeah, it was a good way to end the episode. Pretty funny.
For sure. Yeah.
And believable. I think any other boy, Mark or Brad could not pull that off, but Randy does, so that works.
Hey, Dan, you heard about man's bedroom? Well, did you? I mean, actually, I don't know if you have had the opportunity, but in one of my favorite books, When Stardom Happens, Nurturing Your Child in the Showbiz Industry, there's a chapter about that.
Just that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really short one. They don't use long chapters for whatever reason.
Yeah, they want you just to keep going, They want bite-sized stuff. It's kind of like Twitter. So,
I mean, I think that is where books are heading. Before long, there won't even be chapters. It'll just be tweets. Doesn't that sound like something like someone would say, though? It's just
yeah, it's very wrong, I hope.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, a nickel for your thoughts.
I like this episode. It's pretty simple. Felt as though I can't pinpoint when we've seen it before, but like I don't know, we've definitely had sibling jealousy episodes before, so it's well worn kind of turf. But I thought the man's bedroom was, like we said, one of our favorite of those kind of showcase rooms. So I thought that was good. The Randy Brad conflict is good. There's some good jokes with the man's bedroom and the casserole, and the stuff with Tim and the liver and the colon is pretty good as well. I would say one of the better ones this season, maybe for me. I don't know. Maybe that's too bullish. I liked it. Let's just leave it at that. What about you?
I think there's definitely more good than bad in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
The first scene where they're setting up the man's bedroom, it is a little long, but they are setting up
for sure
something that we're going to enjoy later on in the episode, and then a lot of the jokes that come from that. I think there are quite a few good one-liners in this episode. Maybe Mr. Moreno could have used a little bit of pep or realism or anything like that, but other than that, I don't think there's a lot of drawbacks in this episode. We get Wilson back up to his old tricks, giving good advice, which is nice, because I think last episode he was pretty worthless, and I agree. I think the sibling rivalry, jealousy stuff, we have seen it before maybe with girls and other things, but this is a little bit of a different flair of it, and definitely believable on pretty much every level. So, another good one. I don't know that I would put it like in the top 3 or anything, but overall, this season has been probably my favorite season so far. So
it was almost like Mr. Moreno was like, what does he think he's in, iRobot or something?
Do you think Mr. Moreno was a robot?
I've been sitting on that joke for way too long. The spiel went on so long, it just never, there was never going to be a good time.
Well, I'm so glad you said it. It was great.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Sean's social media corner. If you'd like to reach out to us, go to thehomeimpodcast.com, Twitter and Facebook. We're at Home Impodcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can leave us an iTunes review or a review on whatever podcast app you listen to us. We have 32 reviews now, and we're going to read one in just a little bit, but we're hoping to get 35 as our Christmas present, so
it's funny, Jordan,
review us.
We say it that we only want this as our Christmas present, but we're also soliciting for Patreon, and I'm also pushing stuff on Redbubble, so... But yeah, this would be an awesome Christmas gift in addition to all those other things. I also want a t-shirt bought for me, so...
It is the season of giving, of course.
And receiving.
Speaking of Patreon, go to patreon.com/Home Impodcast. Get bonus episodes. We're going to run a special, speaking of, Yeah, let's run a special. You know what? You're just talking about all the stuff you want. Let's give something back to our listeners.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it.
I don't know, Jordan. I don't know. Do they deserve it?
I think they do. I think they're just lovely people. So here's what I'm going to do. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. So normally you have to donate $5 a month to get a bonus episode every single month. We've done Rush Hour, For Richer or Poor, all that good stuff. Let's lower it. Let's lower the barrier to entry. Let's make it $1.
Wait, no. $1?
$1. That's it.
A 1 hour long extra episode a month, like that. I don't know, man. Are we losing money on this? We might be losing money on this. I don't care.
Know. I don't care. I think our listeners deserve it. So go to patreon.com/Home Impodcast. Donate just $1 a month. I mean, you could probably just find that on the street walking around.
I'm dizzy from this. This is making me dizzy.
Well, I guess I'll move on from it. But, it is the season of giving, so let's go ahead and give.
Wow, I mean, so you're telling me, Jordan, if they donate $1 a month to our Patreon, $12 a year, which is what is that? That's you can't even get a $12 burger in most cities in America these days. Maybe in Europe.
Inflation,
probably
right?
not. It's actually more expensive over there. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. So probably want to take advantage of that, everybody.
Yeah, I would say so. And, only while supplies last.
Yeah, and they won't last forever.
Yeah, right. All right. So with that, Adam, I'm wondering, I know you're kind of in a tizzy right now at all of this generosity. Mm-hmm. This is the generosity movement, but I want to know.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
I want to know what's going on Twitter.
How about we read that iTunes review that you teased earlier?
Oh, I was going to tease it till the end, but go ahead.
No, let's do it now. Pulled up. So yeah, I mean, you can obviously donate to the Patreon. Redbubble is selling our merch, which is really friggin' hot right now, actually. And iTunes reviews as well. We're trying to get 35 before New Year's to validate our time spent on this podcast. December 4th, 2018. Taryn, RLT, not to be confused with R.L. Stein. Be crazy if you listen, though, wouldn't it? She wrote, title, Love. Love, and it's a 5-star review. My favorite kind. All right, here we go. You guys are great. This literally makes me so happy. I just recently discovered this podcast, and it's the best. I'm not far into it. Oh, sorry. But I'm going to listen to every episode. You say that now. I don't even listen to music on the way to work anymore. I don't know why, but I think you all have calmed me down and cured my morning road rage. This puts me in such a great mood knowing other people love the show as much as I do. I literally watch it every day after work for an hour, and then once I finish the series, I just start over. Now all I need is a copy of Power Tool Pursuit, and I'll be a home improvement complete. And again, that's from Taryn RLT. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's great. I hope that she does get all the way here.
If she likes the early episodes, then...
She's really going to like the later.
Then get a load of us now.
It'd be crazy if someone listened to the early episodes and then the later episodes and just hated the later episodes.
Wow, those guys are so self-congratulatory and they ask for too much money.
Well, we're giving back. Remember, patreon.com/Home Impodcast for $1 a month.
Yeah, it's a generosity movement. I heard you.
That's right. All right. Now can you tell me what's going on Twitter?
Yes. Jordan, Twitter this week.
Is it a flame, as usual?
I mean...
Sort of tempered flames?
It's like when you're trying to start a fire and, maybe the logs are a little wet and maybe you're using pine cones and it's a little bit wet, so you gotta throw a little bit of lighter fluid on the fire just to get things going. But then you only do it once because you know it's bad for the environment. It's illegal. It's like that.
It's very dangerous as well, so...
Less concerned about that. Poll this week. I'm having trouble finding it.
As you always do. As you always do. It's a good thing we don't do this live.
I think it'd be cool. I mean, are we still doing our... We should do a tour, I think.
A tour?
Yeah, like various venues.
So, I mean, I guess I hope your promotion is going to pay you a lot of money.
Ford Field, Soldier Field, Lambeau, you know.
Camping World Stadium.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. All right, I got it. No, I don't. But I'm very, very close. Okay.
You can practically taste it.
15 total votes this week. Could you work for or with your sibling? Actually, very different answers, like for versus with, but, you know, for the sake of the poll, I put it together.
Yeah, you couldn't do two polls. Yeah, tell me what happened.
Well, last week I referred to myself as Adam Two Polls, but it didn't stick. 53% said no, they could not work for/with their sibling. 47% said yes. So it's a close poll, Jordan.
Yeah, I think I could work. Well, I mean, it depends on the sibling, perhaps.
You've already established that you rule the roost and that you're the most successful one, so yeah, you probably would love them working for you, wouldn't you? All right. We also heard from at Patrick Pat Gorb. He's responding to this episode. He said, I've played hurling for 12 years. I was less than impressed with Wilson's skills. Shots fired.
And you mentioned that too. You thought he was pretty bad, so...
I want to know, in what venue do you play curling? I keep calling curling. How do you play hurling? Edit this out. Forget it. Whatever. I don't even care. Forget it. Thank you for tweeting at us. You know, what else? Obviously, our next episode, we're not doing another episode on what the is going on with me? I'm having a meltdown. Oh my gosh! Because I'm looking at Twitter as I'm trying to talk. Okay, I just need to relax.
Multitasking.
Okay, I can't.
Just breathe, Adam. Just breathe.
Oh my gosh!
Just breathe.
In addition to that, I'm really just cursing up a storm, which I know is you.
It's gonna be hard for me to edit, but I want to keep all of this in.
Okay, here we go. So thank you for reaching out on Twitter. Everybody, follow us, interact, etc. Reminder: this will be our last episode on Home Improvement for this year. So next week we are dropping or recording our episode on...
We don't drop anything.
On I'll Be Home for Christmas. And in addition to that, kind of steeped in it is hashtag Home Impodcast Christmas, which, Jordan, remind people what Home Impodcast Christmas is. Kind of what are the parameters?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, the first part of Home Impodcast Christmas, wow, I guess you infected me this time. Home Impodcast Christmas is the generosity movement, which we've mentioned a lot. But
yeah, skip that part.
But the second part... We're really falling apart here. The second part is Adam and I both bought 2 gifts for each other, sent them across the United States and perhaps the world from the sounds of your second package, and we're going to open them live on air. So we got some home improvement, I guess you might call them gag-related gifts, or maybe not. Maybe they're just keepsakes that we'll want to keep for the rest of our lives. So we're going to open them live on air, see what we got each other, and it's going to be a good time.
And we had a $15 cap on that. So the fact that we got 2 gifts for $15 means probably neither one of them is going to be very good.
Speak for yourself.
Whoa, okay, all right. Yeah, other than that, I'm good. I mean, maybe I'll solicit some I'll Be Home for Christmas questions or something, but I doubt anybody will have any. Have you watched it yet?
I have not, and this is a 2-parter. That's going to be a 2-part episode.
Oh, yeah, it is going to be a 2-parter. Yeah, I've watched it so long ago, I've already forgotten it, so...
you want to watch it again?
Don't think so.
All right, and then we also... I think we mentioned this maybe on the Rush Hour preview, but we do a Patreon-only episode that you're going to get for only $1 a month, and you've decided what that's going to be. So why don't you tell the folks?
We are doing our Patreon episode on A Christmas Prince, which is taking Netflix by storm. And a lot of people I've read online are like, okay, I know what I think of it, but what do those Home and Podcast guys think? Let's get their take. So yeah,
we're going to tackle it.
Yeah, we're going to tackle it. It's an obvious choice for a home improvement podcast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it makes as much sense as Rush Hour. So
probably more. Yeah, but yeah, that'll be good, and that is coming down the pike.
That's right. All right. So, anything else you gotta say, Adam? I guess it's your question time, huh?
Oh, no. Okay. Close my notes. Jordan, this episode will come out mid-December. I mentioned earlier in the episode that Home... No, jeez. Oh my gosh. My brain is fried. I don't know what's wrong with me. We talked earlier, or rather I talked earlier, about how Home Alone was one of my favorite movies, Christmas or non. What are some other Christmas movies, TV shows, specials that you're going to be watching as this very special holiday comes near?
Yeah, I think last episode we mentioned the Charlie Brown Christmas, so that'll probably happen. That's a good one. The Santa Claus, we covered that as an episode, and that was wonderful.
Santa Claus 2 was also really good.
I don't know how we made it 2 episodes out of that.
I gotta say, I'll Be Home for Christmas is better than Santa Claus 2.
Oh, good. Something for me to look forward to.
My opinion. I don't know.
All right. Well, I think my favorite movies to watch are some of the older ones for Christmas time. So, Cary Grant and The Bishop's Wife. I just watched that the other day. That's one of my favorites. I don't know why you don't like these.
It's nice to record a podcast with a 90-year-old.
I also like
Must have been
Christmas
exciting going to the talkies first. What's your favorite Christmas movies with sound in them, Jordan?
Christmas in Connecticut is my favorite, and The Man Who Came to Dinner with Monty Woolley. We've talked about Monty Woolley a couple times. He's your favorite, right?
Love him, yeah.
All right. Well, have you seen any of those movies?
I forgot what they were. I don't think so.
Well, maybe, just maybe. I mean, first of all, the shoe's on the other foot, because it's always you who's seen all the movies and me who have not. But you should watch them first before you start complaining.
Okay, I'll watch them. I don't abhor old movies by any means, but I feel like you like schlocky kind of romancy Cary Grant movies, and I like His Girl Friday, okay, but that's kind of where it begins and ends for me with those. But yeah, Jordan, I'll maybe if I have time, I'll watch one of those for you this year.
That'd be real sweet.
It would be so sweet. The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Hashtag Home Impodcast Christmas.
Christmas-wise, Rudolph is something I've watched already. Charlie Brown is probably my absolute favorite. I think everybody likes that. Something that I will sometimes enjoy that is maybe a little bit under the radar is an SNL Christmas cut. Favorite Christmas skits. That was pretty good. You get sweaty balls, and you get some other kind of fun stuff in there. I already watched Love Actually. We'll watch Home. Why do I keep wanting to call Home Improvement and Home Alone mixed up? I love them both so much. I'll probably watch both Home Alones pretty quick. Christmas Vacation. Obviously, I think Christmas Prince is going to end up being one of my favorites. I love Christmas movies.
Easily.
I think we're lucky. El Camino Christmas is good.
I saw that on Netflix under the Christmas section. I was like, oh, good.
I'll Be Home for Christmas is probably better than El Camino Christmas too. And I'm not.
You're really.
I'm not saying that it's. I'm not saying any more than that, but I'm saying it's probably better than those two. Other Christmas things I enjoy. Oh, Frosty is nice. I think we all like the same Christmas stuff more or less, but it's a fun time of the year. I look forward to watching these things, and obviously, I'm very much looking forward to our 2-part episode on I'll Be Home for Christmas dropping in the coming weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also an old Disney compilation cartoon of Christmas shorts that my wife actually bought the VHS for because they don't have it on DVD that I used to watch when I was a kid.
Do you have a VHS player?
Yeah, we have a VHS/DVD player still, so we'll pop that in this Christmas. But yeah, so make sure you go to patreon.com/Home Impodcast, get a Christmas Prince for as little as $1 a month. Oh my gosh, what a deal that we're doing. I can hardly stand it. And get ready for I'll Be Home for Christmas. Have a good Christmas, everyone. And Happy New Year, right?
That's right, Jordan. We can say that to them next week, probably.
You think so?
Thank you for listening, everyone. Take care. Jordan, thank you for joining me. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Take care.